Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Austin LGBT Chamber podcast. I am Tina Cannon. I'm joined here with Amy and Colton from the Chamber team. Welcome, y'all.
Hi.
Hi. Sounds exciting. It's as exciting as the weather this week, so we'll give it what it is. I feel like we're back in Dublin.
I kind of like it. Just because I know that it's going to be 112 very soon.
It's still not like cool out, though. It's like warm and wet.
Yeah, but warm is better than
Hot.
I know, but just harken back to last
miserable.
Pride in Local Music when we were on the street in June. And my feet, I think, had melted into the asphalt.
Yeah. My flip-flops are still out there. People think they're turtlebacks in the road, but those are just my sandals.
No joke, though. As a kid growing up in Vegas, that's literally how it was. Like, you had to watch. They would do, when the asphalt would crack, they would come in there with that, I don't know, Jell-O stuff that they would put in between the cracks. Mm-hmm. And then as a kid, you knew to not step on that because you'd lose your shoe. It'd be gone.
Yeah.
It was just because, it's 180 degrees on the asphalt there in Vegas.
I think it happened even when they weren't doing a repair, right? Just like bits of the heel of your shoe are leaving a trail
Just growing up in
behind.
Vegas was a giant mistake. Don't do it. This is my public service announcement to you. Do not raise your children in Las Vegas.
All right. Well, on that note.
So as All Things Chamber podcast, we're going to talk to you about local business news, some chamber excitement, and things that are happening around the area. So let's get to our first headline. The last day to vote, yes, it's time to vote again, in the May 4th election. Travis County voters have really not shown much enthusiasm for this upcoming May 4th election. As of last week, only about 21,000 registered voters had actually cast early ballots, which equates to about 2.4% of the county's registered voters. The last day to early vote is Saturday. It is not a sexy election, but it's an important election. It has the Travis County Central Appraisal Board. I think if you are a homeowner, you all just got your appraisal in the mail. So those are the folks who decide that, as well as there are 6 areas being considered for de-annexation from the city, also on the ballot, including nearby Lost Creek, which would mean that they would have to pay back some $7-something million that they owe the city that the city provided when they became part of the city, right? Infrastructure. So
seems kind of dumb.
to not vote.
Well,
to,
yes, but
to
de-annex and owe the city
yeah, I
almost $8 million.
I'm not sure I understand all the benefit or lack thereof. Because I grew up in a town that was then later annexed.
Yes.
And people felt some kind of way about it because our address changed. Because now it could fluctuate between either Clear Lake City or Houston. Because we now all of a sudden have a Houston address.
Well, it comes down to taxes, right? So if you de-annex from the city of Austin, then you're no longer paying city of Austin taxes. But you're also no longer having city of Austin infrastructure, including fire and EMS.
Sure. Well,
Right?
y'all think long and hard about what you're asking here because it's a whole other bag of worms. And when I say worms, I mean like the wormy kind.
Yeah.
Like the not good ones.
It's really just kind of a big, what to the city of Austin.
Well,
I mean, it was a bill that happened this past session, that allowed jurisdictions to go and get enough signatures, do the things they need to do, get their item on the ballot, that would then have enough votes to get them out of the city of
right.
Austin.
Now, how do you think our fine folks in the offices at the city of Austin would feel about this and budget? Fine. Just changes.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know that it would go in effect immediately through this budget cycle.
Just reallocate and figure it out.
But it is, it would be a loss of a tax base for sure.
Y'all, I don't know. I don't live out here, so I don't get to vote on that. But can we circle back to 2.4%?
Of the number of people who voted in the county?
What are y'all doing out there?
Yeah.
Like, it takes, you're going to spend more time at the nail salon. Like, just
we
go
have
do it.
We have live audio from a polling place right now, actually.
I was going to say, don't yell at me. I'm going on Saturday.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying 2.4% is not you and me and Tina. Like
I will say too, even during the sexy elections, like the presidential or the gubernatorial tickets, those cycles, that's still low.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know
We still get a low turnout. People love to fuss, but they don't love to show up.
Yeah. Well,
voting's fun. I love a sticker.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get to vote in your Halloween costume. We did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I have video of this.
Don't remember.
Oh, yeah. You were both baseball players. I mean, you were.
I do that every year because I'm lazy. It's easy.
Yep. I'm going to agree with that. Your Halloween costume fell a little flat. But Colton's baseball uniform was very shiny and sparkly.
Gay.
Elton John look-alike fit.
Voting is fun. Voting is cool. Voting gets you to be popular. So, yes, get out there and vote in this upcoming, even though albeit small, still an important election because they are going to decide your appraisal for your house.
That's right.
The Federal Reserve held interest rates steady this week at their highest level in 2 decades and acknowledged recent inflation setbacks, extending a wait-and-see posture that could lead well into the year if the economy doesn't weaken. In their official statement released Wednesday, they highlighted, quote, a lack of further progress toward bringing inflation down in recent months. Earlier this year, officials said the risks to achieving their goals of low inflation with a healthy labor market were, quote, moving into better balance. So the Fed has definitely kept rates high.
Holy, can you just read all of that again, please, for all of us?
Basically, it's still not a good time to buy big ticket items. It's going to have a dampening impact on the commercial real estate market because the price of money has become expensive.
Yep.
The cost of borrowing is expensive. And it's unfortunate because, right, we're seeing jobless rates at an all-time low. We're seeing gross domestic product high. We're seeing consumer confidence high. But yet the Fed, who is the one, not any presidential administrations, the Federal Reserve that decides the interest rates that then get passed on to the banks that then get passed on to you. They're the ones that decide the rates. And, right, there's very few economic indicators that would say that we're not in a recession. Economy is good. All the big-ticket things are moving the way they should be. The rich are still richer than they ever used to be. There's still an enormous divide between rich and poor. But there are geopolitical tensions that are extremely high across the globe, which has an impact on everything that everybody's doing. And there is a presidential election this year. So, like, part of me gets it that they're just, let's wait and see. But at least they didn't increase the rates.
Well, and that attitude is also why we're all like, let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it impacts
I made
consumers.
some adjustments to like my the way things are taxed, the way like pre-tax versus 401k stuff, and anyway, if you've got like investments out there, I've made a little bit of adjustments because I think we're all a little bit like, it's going to get bad again. It will. It's inevitable.
Yeah. But if you're not investing, especially if you are any age below not dead, you should be investing in one way or another.
As best you can, yes.
Yes. If your employer offers a match, take it. That's free money on the table.
Yeah.
But you're allowed to put pre-tax dollars away into different types of investment vehicles. We are not an investment advisor. Please see your investment advisor for details.
Yeah, that.
Right? But like you have to be putting money away.
Also, you can find them in a directory.
Right. Because at some point there's this beautiful thing called compounding interest. And just do yourself a favor, Google a compounding interest calculator, and it will give you little boxes to fill in. It says, how much do you want to put away each week or month or whatever the interval is, and at what interest rate. So, right, you go look at some banks right now, especially online banks, are paying at 5.5% interest rate right now. More like Main Street banks are dipping in around 2.5%, 3.5%. But if you just use a mid-range, 3-4% compounded, you will see an insane number in the answer box over a period of 10, 15 years.
Like, do it now.
Yeah.
Do it now. And that's not like financial advisor advice. That's like...
It's just like human to human.
Do you want to... like, if you're maximizing your paycheck, I get it. Like, usually younger gens, they got bills to pay. It's the first time they've earned good coin, and they need to spend it. But eventually, you got to like switch that off, turn it off.
I mean, think of it as another Netflix. Like it's just your monthly thing that you're paying into for $20.
Yeah, and you can split it up. You can. Y'all know how to do this. It's like auto pay. Like
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, you turn it on, and really, truly, that number you see it at the end of, let's say, your retirement, and you are fine.
Yeah,
like you are fine.
Yeah, it's a fun
you're
exercise.
More than fine.
To
you're
do that.
like, yeah, and you're like, holy, I just got to do another 40 years, another whatever.
Yeah, you have to put money aside. And you have to put it in an investment vehicle in one way or another. And if you don't know how to invest, right, there are plenty of advisors in the directory that can do that. But the basics thing is if you just index funds are the easiest. Index funds follow a particular index. Right, if you invest in an S&P index fund, right, it's going to follow the trend of the S&P.
Right.
And if you look a historical trend of the S&P for the last 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 years, it always goes from the bottom left-hand corner of the chart to the upper right-hand corner. Right? There's going to be dips, right? We've had recessions,
ebbs and flows,
but it always keeps going, trucking up to the far right-hand side.
Keeps going up. That's right. And like if those who have invested out there, like I think you should be sitting pretty good. And if you're not, we've got people for you.
We do.
In the directory.
So, yeah, if you are, again, anything below the age of dead, please invest. Our friends at Tesla, we talked about them last week, but they are laying off another 2,700 workers at the Austin factory, according to Texas Workforce Commission. They did file an official WARN Act document that they plan to lay off folks in June, according to that notice. You can find out details at Statesman, but the layoff for the nearly 2,700 employees was posted as required by the law, because they got into a little bit of a snag this last time, because they fortunately didn't lay off enough to get them in a weird way. But you do, if you're over a certain number, you have to follow the WARN Act. But this comes ahead of the company's earning call this week, or this next week, Tesla's had a drop in year-over-year revenue, and it's really the first time that they've had that drop since 2020. But what's interesting is part of this earnings call is the board is also going to be arguing over whether or not CEO Elon Musk is due to get his $56 billion pay package. I mean, this is when other EV manufacturers are actually seeing a net increase in sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where's my...
Yeah. This is so sad.
It's just bad business.
It's bad business, but because we care about our neighbors in Austin, and there are folks that were working for Tesla pre all the loud crazy that is now very public. And they're good people. And they're good at what they do. And they probably love who they work with. Maybe not always who they work for, but like if it's a good job and you like your work family, and then you just find out, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you're gone.
We're worried about the top of the totem pole's investments rather than your own.
Right. Like, sorry, you got to go. Thanks for, giving your blood, sweat, and tears to build these ugly trucks. But, oh, by the way, we have to fire you because and at the same time need to give $56 billion to the CEO.
You don't want a moon cruiser? You don't want like a moon tanker?
Somebody what did they call it the other day? They called it an air fryer on wheels.
I know. It looks like an iron.
Yeah.
It looks like a doorstop.
It looks like
our
birth
rubber
control.
door stopper. We don't have one in here. But
it's birth control.
Oh, wow.
That's what it is.
That is excessive. That's too far.
Well, and this is also this last week over at Tesla, a couple of their big executives left. And one guy in particular, I can't remember his name. He was one of the VPs. He left and cashed out his stock at $180 million.
Right.
And mind you, that was down 40% of what from what it was the prior year. So
can you imagine?
I mean, Tesla's stock is tanking. So it means he left like $140 million on the table had he cashed out last year, in addition to the 180.
Like, it's so. I feel like I guess it's not. But I feel like it's so easy. We talked about this. Richard Branson. virgin everything.
Right.
And he constantly champions his workforce. And he's like, well, if things aren't good at home, guess what? Things aren't good for our customers. So it would appear on paper that things are not good for your customers right now, which is why people are getting laid off, because there's no money to be had.
Yeah.
So maybe you should look inward on what is going on for good business.
Well, what gets me about him is he's always like, he's heralded as this like genius guy. Where is it? Where is the genius?
I don't know, because I do remember a time when people were like, yeah, him. Voldemort.
Like, being weird doesn't mean that you're a genius. Like,
didn't he just like purchase all of these companies though? Like,
yeah. Except for the truck. The truck was the only one that he actually came up with.
Yeah.
The car, somebody else had come up with.
They were all acquired.
Yeah. The rocket ships that he's doing, there was a bunch of other really smart folks that were doing that. Obviously, the bird company that's now, whatever, the letter, he bought that and destroyed it. Like, it's just, yeah, like, what has he actually done with this so-called genius besides just throwing money around? I don't understand it.
Well, and then I asked this question the other day too. Like, when you drive up the toll, and you see they've been working on that one corner of the factory for what, we're going on 2 years now, where they couldn't figure out the paint color, and then they didn't know what windows they wanted, and now all of that has been scrapped, and they're adding, I would guess, like another 50 yards onto that building. So
he's trying to tell everybody that Tesla is now a robotics company, an AI company. Because if you don't say AI in Silicon Valley like every 10 minutes, I think they hit you in the kneecaps.
That sounds terrible.
So, yeah, he's inventing yet another business that he can put in that building and fail.
Well,
I mean, it's just...
It sounds a little cart before the horse, if you ask me, and it sounds like somebody's struggling with a little bit of ADHD, and maybe you should finish your first project before you start the next one. Like, I'm just here to help you, give you some homework advice. Like, before we do the dishes, did you put all your laundry away? I'm sorry, Ashley, I'll do it as soon as I get home, I promise. But, yeah. I don't know. That's kind of, he's got, like, there's a lot, just fingers in so many pots and, like, and too many opinions. Like, please be quiet and
I
take
feel
care
like
of your people.
His fans, like, were early adopters and came out and bought all the things and went nuts. And now the rest of us as consumers who have a choice can look at BYD's crushing it out of Asia, crushing it in the EV market.
Sure.
Rivian, a vehicle that looks like a vehicle,
so cool.
crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like doing the right things.
Is Rivian the one that's on South Congress?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
Mopar. I mean, hello. Where did y'all come from with your EV Jeep? Like, what?
Because Mopar was never cool.
No, and now, but I mean, and whatever. I'm not going to talk cars, but I know.
Okay, go ahead.
We can.
No, Colton will you want to take a break?
I'll take a nap.
I'm sorry, Colton. Oh, well, at any rate.
Yeah, at any rate. And I mean, aside from that, it's been a crazy week, right? We don't, on this podcast, get into all the things that are happening, but are, for at least for me, my thoughts and prayers are with those who are impacted by all the things that are happening around the world. But that is the short version of the headlines.
Yeah, and come hang out with us if you're laid off.
Or if you are not.
Or that too.
Is the local news roundup. What's news in the chamber world? What do we have ahead?
We will be at the Iron Bear on May 23rd for our monthly chamber happy hour.
Yay.
So if you bears. If you have never been to a chamber event, happy hours are a good place to start. Come hang out with us. Very chill.
I thought you were going to say if you've never been to a bear bar, this is a good place to go. This is a good place to start.
Well, here, yeah. It's the only one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so come hang out with us. And then we have an exciting special chamber luncheon coming up on June 5th at the Headliners Club.
Woo-hoo.
God's waiting room.
And it's getting remodeled soon. So if you have never been there, you really should check it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Come for the speaker session and hang out with all of the member peeps and stay for the view.
Great speaker session coming up for this one.
Yeah. Well,
if you
way
were
to sell the names.
So it's being dialed in, like it's being it's tweaked. But yes, it is going to be very centric to the month. We're heading into Pride Month, y'all. It's going to be crazy. So we've got some folks coming up to speak to intent. We love that topic of like doing it the right way. That's what we're about here.
Should I expect something similar to our South by Southwest panel?
I mean, I think you're going to see some familiar faces. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah. So very cool stuff. And if you haven't been to Headliners, like you can use us as a vehicle to go to Headliners for the first time. Like come check it out. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and no, not a hard sell, as we say every time. All of our luncheons sell out. We just had a luncheon this week, packed house. We had to stand and eat. It's fine. We're used to it. So sign up for the luncheon at the Chamber website.
Yeah, you can see me in the corner like horking it down because everyone else, I've been watching everyone enjoy their meal and then I'm like, God, that looks really good. I'm just
I always feel like we look like the flight attendants, like over in the corner by like one of the little things, just shoveling food in our face before we have to change into our ugly shoes and go serve people.
Oh, that's fair. I can hear a call light in my head all the time. Like, boom. I'm like, oh, did you need another glass of champagne?
What else we got? Anything else exciting? No?
Nothing else on my list, but stay tuned for events happening in June. We will have a lot of ribbon cuttings and other exciting events popping up.
We're going to be a lot of places. Yeah, so like get eyes on the calendar. We have a lot of ribbon cuttings coming up that are super fun and Pride focused because some of our members are hosting very specific Pride events. So outside of that, we've got some other stuff in the pipeline that we can't share yet. But as we creep over the hump of the middle of the year, the back half of our year is very heavy. So if you're not paying attention yet, you better wake up and start looking at the calendar because you're going to miss out.
There'll be some serious FOMO.
Yeah. We missed out a lot.
Well, thank you for that. And thank you for always joining us every Friday at noon. If you want to become a member of the Chamber or join us for any of those events, you can visit the AustinLGBTChamber.com. If you want to be a guest or a sponsor of this podcast, you can email us at info@AustinLGBTChamber.com. Be sure to check out past episodes of the show. Follow us and each Friday at noon, wherever you get your podcasts. We will see you all